Get a phone holder. I know. I just literally said it. So I need to sort. I'm on the road. Poor Luton. Oh, Luton against Watford. Don't even go there. Andrew Tate is trolling Islam. Tate. Talk about the Ellie case. Shall I talk about the Ellie case? Let me talk about the Ellie case. There was a case about a girl in Barrow called Ellie. And there was a campaign, Justice for Ellie. Some of you may have seen it. I may have shared it with you. I was working on a story about a young girl called Ellie. Ellie Williams? Ellie Reynolds? Ellie Williams? Who had put up on Facebook pictures of her face beaten black and blue. And she had made the accusation that she had been a victim of Muslim grooming gangs. And she had named businesses, if I believe right, in the town of Barrow that had been involved in her prostitution and her rape. Now, I went to Barrow and I spent a good few days there, yeah, travelling around, meeting people, talking to people. Now, I always say that I want to tell you the truth. Yeah, I pride myself on the fact that I tell the truth. Now, when I went to Barrow, it would have been a very easy story for me to jump into. The accusation of Muslim businesses, raping a young girl, beating her, police failures, and go full 100% behind that story. But when I got to Barrow and I started investigating myself, I found a lot of problems. And a lot of problems with Ellie, a lot of problems with accusations she's historically made. So I'm not here to say that Ellie is not a victim of anything. Yeah, what I'm here to say is that she has falsely accused lots of men of rape previously to accusing these Pakistani groups in Barrow. Now, we can't choose to believe everything 100% because it suits our narrative or fits our narrative. There was a man who she, off her phone, made, and I was investigating this. I spent time speaking to a lot of people, travelling around. I was there for actually not days. I was there for a good while, and I found Ellie's stepdad. Her family, you may have seen. I think her nan is in charge of children's services. Her mum is a counsellor, Labour counsellor, something like that. Her stepdad. So her family know everything I know. Yeah. So to be pushing the story to you, I was making this into a documentary. If those Muslim men are innocent, then it's disgusting what's being said about them at the same time. Yeah, I remember walking into this Muslim gentleman's house, and as I walked in, he opened the door and he come out. Yeah, and some woman shouted racist at me, and some bloke shouted pedo at him. And I remember, and I said to him, I said, I won that one, bro. I won that one. But as I went into his house and I sat with his family, his son left college, had to leave college, 16 years old, over this story. Yeah? I met his wife, and I told them, like I tell everyone, I'm just here to get to the truth. I want to ask you questions. I want to understand what's gone on in here. I want to understand Ellie. I want to understand the accusations. And as I said, nothing adds up. Nothing adds up in the sense that that girl had previously created an account on her phone, and she created it in the name of a young boy. And then she'd said that that young boy had raped her, and she'd sent herself messages. This is what's been done. This is what was she done. Yeah, she'd sent herself messages. That young boy spent months on remand in prison for a crime he had never committed. He was suicidal. I met his mum. I met him. His entire life fucked. Branded as a rapist, a rumour against him that will never go away. I read every single bit of the information, the paperwork about his case. Yeah. So she'd accused him of rape, and he didn't rape her. She'd accused a boy at school of rape, and he didn't rape her. She'd accused multiple men of raping her and beating her. Okay? Because she had injuries and she was laying unconscious on the floor, or in an unconscious state on the floor, when she accused this other boy of raping her. And it was impossible. He didn't do it. Yeah. So something crazy is going on in that girl's life. Yeah. And again, I'm not saying, but when I found her family, I've got all the footage. People may think, and I saw the media say I was there to inflame racial tensions. I was there to get to the truth, and I was going to tell you the truth. This court case is coming up, yeah? And the truth was, and I found so much out, yeah? So much out. I still may try and put this together into a quick doc, anyway. But you may remember the police arrested me and they banned me from entering the area. So we can't take, or when she puts a statement up about these Muslim men raping her, she was already on bail for falsely accusing multiple other men. And she had set up accounts on her phone in other men's names, sent herself messages of threats and violence and things like that. Basically falsified evidence. The police obviously... The head of the problem you got is the head of the police comes out and he says, there's no grooming in this town. No Muslim businesses are involved in grooming in this town. When I went and met many Muslims in that town, I found out there is grooming going on in that town. Yeah, there is. There is grooming going on in that town. And I know that because some of the Muslims told me information I needed to know, that the police need to know. And the police do know anyway. Yeah, they do know, because I found out so much what was going on in Barrow, one messed up place. Yeah, but I'm not saying, maybe she might need to be incarcerated. Yeah, but maybe she is a victim of something. Yeah, I had so many accusations from so many people close to her about things close to her. It was a mess. Yeah, it was a mess. But her stepdad, I found him, and whoever people, I was there to ask him, when are you going to tell the truth to the public? Because there's a massive campaign here. This town is on tender hooks, and a lot of men. For example, when I went to meet the Muslims, yeah, I met one lad who's had a business there for 30 years, family business. When he come to meet me, an English lad come with him, who was his mate, who moved up from London. And that lad said to me, Tommy, I follow everything you do, yeah, and I really admire what you do. This is my mate. I'm telling you, he ain't a rapist, yeah. I'm telling you he ain't a rapist, and I'm telling you he hasn't been grooming, yeah. I said, okay, mate, but I still want to investigate what's gone on here. Now, if that man is an innocent man, and he's been falsely labelled and tarnished, and his business has been tarnished and destroyed, then I did want to be the journalist that uncovers what's gone on in that town and tells people what's gone on in that town. Yeah, there is something up. I agree, Lily. There's something up, something seriously up, something maybe that she's been hiding for a long time. Yeah, maybe she has been covering for her originally abusers and blaming other men. Maybe all these things have gone on. Maybe, but based on her say so, can men's lives be absolutely and utterly tipped upside down and destroyed due to social media posts? They can't, and they shouldn't. Based on her say so, because her say so is previously multiple false accusations, and not just false accusations, but setups of men, and destroyed their lives. I had the one story of one boy, man, and do you know what annoys me actually about this? I'll tell you what annoys me about this. I'll just tell you straight. Some people distance themselves from me. Yeah? I sat with a boy who was suicidal in jail, who kissed his mum goodbye in the police station, told her he will never come out of prison if he's being held as a rapist. Yeah, he hadn't done anything wrong. That boy had messaged someone who I admired and respected. Yeah, a certain lady who's been prominent in exposing grooming, and he'd messaged her and said, "Please don't believe this from this girl about the Muslims. And she spoke to him, and he explained to her how she'd falsely accused him of rape, and she'd done all these things against him, and it was all lies. But this lady continued to pump this case and continued to say she was to pump this story, even though she knew. So I kept telling you, I didn't pump the story or the accusations against the men. I said I was there to investigate what was going on. There were men taking advantage of girls in some of those businesses. I found all of that out, yeah. But on the Ellie case, keep your eyes on that case. It's going on in Boston. It's going on in Barrow. People were talking of a cover-up. I can only tell you what I found and read and saw evidence of, and that is false accusations against men multiple times. And to see if any woman destroys a man's life like that, there should be punishment, because those men's lives were destroyed. Many of them, yeah? So we can't just jump on the bandwagon and believe it, or it shouldn't be, and Muslim men be destroyed, have their lives destroyed without due process or trial. So, because you just can't go off what that girl says, unfortunately. That's right. Anyway, that's that.